Go again. Go on.
Good. Okay. So once he got here, I bought a plane ticket to Dublin, Ireland, and a plane ticket home from Gatwick, England. Didn't know what was going to happen in the middle, and me being an Intel guy, everything has to be planned out. I'm very analytical, very like organized. Everything has to be planned, like all down to the T of where I'm going to eat. But he's like, no, we have to just let this go. So I was like, okay, where are we going? He's like, I don't know. I was like, all right. So we got there, and I found out just a week prior that my mom's father is like from Cork, Ireland. Like that's my family's like thing, I guess. I didn't know this, but I was led to do like a bunch of healing of timelines. And once I got to Ireland, or back to once we crossed over the Irish the channel or the sea, we got to what it's called. I just lost the name of the port. It is just above Liverpool.
Dublin?
Oh no, Carlisle. Holyhead.
Holyhead, yes.
Yeah, that's Holyhead's just below Liverpool. It's right near me. That is literally just down the road.
Once we got there, I instantly knew like we have to go to Bath, Bristol, Glastonbury, the Tour, the Abbey, Salisbury, and obviously Stonehenge for the solstice. But the entire time, I felt like I wasn't in this body. It was like my body was being utilized by my higher self, and I was conducting like grid work. And this is stuff that was just like literally coming into me, spontaneous. Don't second guess it, and just go and do it. Doing like programming crystals and you know, placing them there where I was being led to, and then just synchronicities. The people that we ran into all resonated at our same frequency, our same ideologies, our same truths that we are. After we transcended our old paradigms, our old 3D belief systems, and we have our new truths that we built our own selves, and we're all coming back together. Everyone resonated at that same frequency level. They all agreed, like, yeah, like, no, we don't need a financial system. It's only used for bartering. It's literally just a piece of paper that we're handing to each other just to make us feel better about something. When it's literally the human being that creates everything through a conscious thought, because this is a conscious reality. This is a conscious construct. And being a holder of consciousness, we are the infinite power source within ourselves. Once we get to the 0 point within ourselves, or what I perceive to be like the halls of Amentes. Like when I went in a meditation, it was like a void. Nothing was there. It was just me in a black room, and there was nothing there. And then all of a sudden, just a massive hallway opened up and a bunch of doors, and I perceived it to be halls of Amenti. And there was the colors were amazing, and I speak about this in on my YouTube channel. But like once I got to the Abbey, like everything was just manifesting. Like we didn't have to worry about anything from where we were staying, from food, from money or anything like that. It was just unraveling. Like it was too good to be true. Like I manifested everything or wrote it all out, and everything happened the way I wrote it out. It was just astounding. And being an American and going over there, and everyone's like, oh, this guy, these people, they're sleeping. They have no idea what's going on in the real world. Well, no, not these two guys, because we worked for the other side, and so we kind of do know what type of technology is out there. We have seen other beings. So me and my buddy Evan, we kind of know what's going on more than the average Joe on the behind the scenes with the DOD and the government, because we were those guys with those clearances, with the access and placement and access. um, signing those non-disclosure agreements and all that, the NDAs, and being read on and read off. There is technology that is already out there. Well, it's not out there, but it's already manifested. It's already been built, manufactured, produced. 0 point energy. We already like have it. It's just not out there. It's already being utilized by the people behind the scenes. The people call them the controllers. They're just not giving it to the public, to the masses, because they are utilizing our energy. They call it like loosh. They're using our energy to live off of. So they might die off, like say the Rothschilds or Soros or any family, the Vanderbilts or anything like that. Say they transition over to the other side. Well, when they come back, they have access to all their past lives. They remember everything. Unlike us, we have the veils and whatnot placed over our like was it miasma, like amnesia. Like, we don't remember anything, and that was part of the deal. But for them, being on the other side, playing the dark role, because that's all they're really playing. It's just a role, because we all come from one source in the end, or the beginning. They're just playing a role so we can play this game of duality and polarity, finding ourselves back to ourselves, unifying it as a collective consciousness, ironing out the false grids or the false algorithmic paradigms that have been placed on certain sacred sites. And I was prompted on my journey to go and like reverse, like I kept on writing reverse grids, and that's what we were doing on this trip. And when I came back, I finally decompressed and went over all the photos, and instantly got light language. Like, make a collage and put it on your Facebook or your YouTube channel, and it's gonna be light language for someone. Someone's going to pick up new codes off of your pictures, and it's going to spell something out for them. It's going to identify you, and it's going to assist them with what is happening. I was like, okay, I didn't second guess it. I just made a collage and threw it up. And once I threw it up, I noticed that I was being censored by YouTube. Like, my video views went from like 400 or 500 down to 77. Like, that is like, I'm not in it for views, subscribers, or anything. I made my channel for myself, to empower people, not to take their power. I want to empower them by telling them that, yes, you can lose 60 pounds by talking to yourself. Like me, my friend and my mom are proof that just by talking to ourselves and healing our trauma from this lifetime, you lose physical weight, you lose density. So I threw that up there, and I was drawn to it, and it manifested. So, and I didn't do anything. I didn't plan, predict, nothing. I didn't put anything aside for this trip. I just said, you know what, something's pulling me to Ireland and England. If I'm meant to be there, if I'm supposed to be there, and it is part of my highest timeline for this incarnation, the universe will adjust itself for it to fall right in place. And sure enough, we were there on winter solstice, and it was amazing. And then when we came back, we were in Gatwick Airport, and there was a bunch of people in the airport that were part of those flights that were delayed and canceled. And we ran into seven individuals in the airport. And one of them, she hadn't seen her son in 3 years, and her flight was canceled. She didn't get to the airport on time, so she missed her flight because of the drones. But she hadn't seen her son in 3 years because she was in a different. She was in England, and she's from Romania, and the airlines wasn't going to give her ticket back or refund her. So I was like, I'll just buy you a ticket. So I bought her a ticket. And these individuals were like, who are you people? Like who just goes off and buys a random person a ticket? Well, we do. We're humans. And who's going to help another human? The government or the corporations aren't going to help us. It's us. We're going to help each other. It's us that lifts each other up. It's us that is going to get us through this quickening and an awakening we are the. I really don't like labels or titles, but I guess you could say light workers, way showers, forerunners, star seeds,
Right.
earth angels. um, so just pushing our message out and meeting my first Luciferian, yeah, it kind of threw me off. But by the time I got done talking to him and speaking my truth to him and telling him that I see the God in him, not outside of him, he walked away saying that he was walking on the clouds. So I was like, oh, if I can get a Luciferian to say that, then I must be doing something right in England. So it was pretty amazing.
Amazing.
Awesome.
So, Paula, what have you got to say? Because I know you've had a lot going on today with banks being shut and checks not being able to be paid and snow and what? Because I know you've got a bit of a download today.
Um, well, yeah, first of all, I just want to say, Brandon, I really hope you feel the level of family that you've got here, because we all know what you're talking about on every level, from being inside the DOD and the grid work and all of it. I just want to say, oh my God, we're all from the same small family. I feel like Lyrans or
I can't
something.
see your face, Paula. Can two people just take their camera off so we can get Paula's face on?
And I'm gonna flip mine
No,
around and keep.
we've just got your shoulders.
Oh, okay, it might have been because I had it up and
That's it.
down, so the
No, it's
camera was on the
okay.
bottom.
Okay.
Well, and I just want to go back to what Tim's saying too. I mean, I just know I think we're a little bit limited. I mean, if we were all sitting around having a pint together, we could all just like jump in and be like, oh yeah, me too, and that, and it would. These thoughts and experiences that are just so resonant, and I just want to acknowledge that, especially for anybody else who might be watching this afterwards. I just know that we are getting downloads from each other, and I just want to say this teeny little bit. This was like, oh my God, maybe between 15 and 20 years ago. I just developed this little thought tool that I called perfect circle awareness, and I imagined myself as being the still point in the center of a sphere. And that brought me so much peace. And I was like, that's perfection. And if I can just call in that perfect circle awareness, then I can manifest. And then Candy's roommate and Laura, she gave me a BQH session recently. And well, I've just been getting so many of them. I'm not sure who this came through, but I got to this level where I was talking to, I don't know, higher self or source or somebody way up there who's also me. And they were saying, I had this sense that something was coming in, and I couldn't tell if it was information or energy or abundance. But when you mentioned the photon, I'm like, oh, I think that's it. And I think that's this new place we are in the universe. There's a different kind of particle. So I wanted to ask you about, when did this guy, Ilya, is that his name? Ilya, when did he say, oh, we have this new photon to work with? Because another thing that I got in a very recent session is they showed me that when I sent a thought out for manifesting, that there were like 1,000 of me, is kind of what they showed, like all these little higher selves, and they were going to reflect my intention back down 1,000-fold. And then since the 333 gateway, since this big shift that we've gone through, and I'm a chemtrail buster, and I take great pleasure in just feeling what's going to work. And, you know, as the vibration has been going up really, really slowly over the past year, I've just really gotten in touch with love and, you know, breaking it up with love and talking to the particles and knowing that they don't want to do harm in of themselves, yada, yada. Well, after the shift on Sunday or Monday, I was driving around yesterday and I was like I hadn't seen any chemtrails. And then I saw one yesterday and I didn't have to do hardly anything. I just felt like, I think, Brandon, you were saying you just felt super fit and super strong, or Tim, was it you saying you were doing yoga and you just felt like so strong?
Yeah,
I
just
felt that
like, yeah, effortless. Yeah.
effortless. It felt absolutely effortless to just look at the chemtrail and just go, the vibration's too high for you to exist here. And I just sent love to it. And then I kept driving and my guides are like, Okay, just give that about 30 seconds and I'll look up. And it was all gone and the plane was gone. And I did that the other day too, like where the plane just disappeared. I'm like, and it was just absolutely effortless. So I wanted to ask you a little bit about this. I mean, when I'm taking notes on what you're talking about, Ilya, and I'm like, why am I taking notes? Because this doesn't make any sense to me. But there's some part of me that's getting it. And I want to understand this photon. When did it come in? And then I can talk about my downloads, but I'm like intensely curious about that right now.
Sure. Well, I mean, I can only relay what he said to me because, I mean, look, I imagine it as well now. I'm sort of a bit taken by it, a bit seduced by it, if you like. But what he says is that it's been here on this planet for the last 20 years, which goes back before. He's a very big believer in the 2012, December 22nd, was it? 2012, and the whole, moving into the age of Aquarius. But it seems that the photon was here before then. So it was like a precursor to that. But, we're talking about an era that's going on for many thousands of years, right? So just being
Right.
10 years early or something is not, it's not unaligned. So I don't know much more than that. And I also, I'll be honest with you, it would be really good because I've asked him so many questions. It'd be really good if we did get him on here and you could actually say to him, how do you know, how do you know it's here? Like really basic questions. I've accepted that, that what he tells me is true, but haven't really cross-examined him. So it would be like a good chance for you guys as new people to this, say, look, Tim's told us this much. We still have some
and also as well
questions.
when we're talking eye to eye, we're all being empathic as we are. We can
Yeah.
just like we're doing to each other now. We're tapping into the stream and swap. We just seems like we're just talking, but our streams up there are just swapping information to talk to the source. It's like having a Tesla in the room. To tap into the actual source of that, we can like jack into him.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean, on a higher level, and pull that information down from him, whether we understand it here or not. Our higher selves will decode it and give us what we need for each individual of what we do, whether it's whether we understand it or not. Because on some level, we understand everything in the universe.
Yeah. And what you were saying earlier on, Paula, about your ability to affect the chemtrails and so on, maybe that's got you wondering whether it was your conscious human intent that was projecting through the Deca to bring about a benevolent result.
Yeah, all I know is that
you're an advanced manifester, already, the creator being that you are, and you're using it without knowing it. It could be.
Yeah, I just feel like we just have so much greater access, and I call it the interference. And Brandon, I really appreciated what you said about the dark just playing a role. They're just playing a role, and I can't remember who I was listening to, but they said, it takes a stronger soul to be, which do you think, a light or a dark? And it was the dark. It takes a stronger soul to say, I'll sign up and play the role to be the dark. So anyway, I just want to throw that out there, so we can experience duality. But yeah, being in this new place that we are, that I felt very distinctly, we lurched into this around 333. I also feel that we're being viewed with much greater compassion by it. I don't have language for this because it feels like we're in this really new place and I don't know how to talk about it. And all the old paradigms seem to have just vaporized, but it's like we're in this new place. And I just feel like how as a child you're feeling sad, but you can't cry until mom sees you and says, are you okay? And then you're like, because compassion comes in. And I feel like a new level of tenderness and compassion. And Brandon, this is where the mother arc thing comes in, because you and Liara got that in the same week, and I'd never even heard that word before. And that's when I watched the first video of yours at that point, was to like, yeah, tell me more about this mother art. But I feel like we are being viewed with greater compassion, which is wicking out of us deeper and deeper levels. We all have been purging. We're all familiar with the, let's clean up our act, purge, get rid of all this blah, 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 whatever, generational stuff or whatever. But I feel a level of clearing that I've never felt before. And I feel a detachment. I know I'm just kind of going on and on, you guys, but just, dive in after and tell me if this resonates with you. But I feel this level of detachment from the matrix and from 3D that I've never felt before. I feel like it took me about a week to squeeze through this realization that I was done. Like, I was super, super plugged into Q, and my guides said, like, about a month or two ago, they like, you're done. You're done. The mission is accomplished. And I had this little psychic visit with a certain orange-haired individual we know and love. And he told me it's all good and it's just a cleanup operation from here on out. And so I went through this disorientation for about a week, and I cried so profoundly and deeply that I just did not have words for it. And I'm a really articulate person, and my husband was the only person I could talk to about it. And he is so totally not into all of this. But anyway, I realized that it was getting to the end of an incredibly painful and difficult journey through millennia as a warrior. And then in one of my readings, they said, this is the last lifetime you will ever have to play the role of the warrior. And I love my warrior. I know how to be a spiritual warrior. And it took me about a week to decide that I just wanted to be happy. I just want to experience texture and pleasure and my dog and the moment. And I'm beginning to really adapt to this. And I think it's 5D because I don't have any urgency. There's absolutely no urgency, no need, no fear. There's just being present. And it's like, look, I'm still human, but everything just feels okay. And then an owl came into my yard, for reals, a 3D owl. And then later on, that same owl was being mounted by a male owl, and I was watching them mate in my backyard. And then this female owl said to me, you just need to attend to your family, your immediate family. And one by one, they've just been kind of contacting me and saying, oh, I'm going through this massive whatever. And I feel this weird detachment from it. Like, I could not care if I wanted to not care. Like, you've died, like, you're not worried after you die. You're like, everyone's going to be okay. But it's like this choice. No, I'm going to participate with this family member in this moment of release. And I'll take it on a little bit, process it, and breathe it out. And it's nothing like what it used to be, where I would take it on and I would either get sick or feel terrible for hours. It's like I just take it, feel it, and it goes. Okay, I'll shut up now. You can tell me what that brings up for you. And
Laura?
That's really funny. Your last time as a warrior. I just keep thinking last time period, right? Yeah. That was really nice, Paula. It was really good to hear from you. I missed you. I haven't talked to you forever. I wanted to ask actually about the meeting last night, and like, is there some magical thing we have to do to be able to remember stuff like that when we wake up, or it's just like you, Liara, have a special, unique gift that you get to remember that's what happened?
All right, am I on?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it's not a special gift. It's just years and years. I'm 51 on Tuesday, so it's 51 years of practice. So it's, the minute I wake up in the morning, before I don't go to the loo, I go and make myself a coffee. I'll go vape now with my CBD. I'll go sit in the sunshine, and I will process whatever I've done, and I will take a notepad, and because I take mental images, because it's hard to bring down information as in words and pictures and a whole thing. All you need is one image, and that one image will open up the doorway for the memory to come through. So if you can remember when you go to sleep at night, just to practice in your dream, pretend you've got a camera and take just an image of the most significant bit of your dream, take an image of it and bring it back, and in the morning go downstairs and have a coffee or whatever you do, sit in the sun and draw that image, look at that image and focus on that image. If you go to the loo the minute you get up, all those codes and everything are washed out your body straight away. I'm just telling you that now. It's straight out your body. I know everyone's desperate to get to the loo. The first thing you do when you get in the morning is have a drink and go to the loo, and all your memories are gone down the loo. So take an image. That's why I'm an artist, and all my stuff is I can look at one image. It's like having that smell of a cut grass when you're driving down the road, and it takes you back to a whole sequence of memories of when you were 2. One image will bring back a whole. That's why I put my art on my page, because it will unlock memories for everybody else. I don't say anything about my art. Everybody will get what they need from that memory, but we've all got the capacity to do that. And so if you bring back an image and you do like an image of like that hand that I did with all the things, that'll mean nothing to anybody that isn't awake and seen that image somewhere else. But to the ones that have forgotten their dreams and they'll see that image, it'll unlock that packet of information for them. So it's just our way of, it's like hieroglyphs, like I've said before, it's our way of bypassing the ones that would try to hijack our information. Sorry, go on, Brandon.
I have a question. What does everyone like? What is the level of knowledge on DNA and sacred geometry, reprogramming the DNA within the human vessel?
I'll throw that out to anybody who wants to put their hand up and answer it. I know my own processes, but anybody want to say what they think, how to program your own, how you program personally, because we all do different things to program the codes out of us. So anybody want to rip with that?
I just always felt like everything, well, every light worker that you talk to, every trip that you take somewhere, every piece of art that you see, every piece of music that you listen to is somehow, wearing bracelets with the codes in them. It's all kind of changing your DNA. That's, I guess, what I always thought, felt. I don't know if it's right or not. That's kind of why I've noticed, like, being really aware of the music that I hear now. This is coming from Ryan, actually. He wears those giant headphones. I started doing that, taking them to the gym so I wouldn't hear other music playing, and it makes a huge difference. Those pop songs that just get into your brain and just won't stop playing. It's for me, it's like really being aware of what I'm listening to, what I'm watching, and kind of where I am, because Candy and I just moved from Indianapolis to Asheville, and the first 2 days we were like, wait, it's so quiet here, which is obvious because it's not a big city. But then I realized it wasn't quiet just outside, it was quiet in here because we weren't by so many people. And we have neighbors, but they're not that close. So that's where I'm at. It's like, where am I going? What am I hearing? And just even in the like the background noise and the background music when you're out and about. But I feel like all of it is programming in some way. It's just kind of like, what are you programming yourself with?
It's like I've had to watch 3D news, so I'll flick it because I've got all the channels of every news channel in the world on my TV I've got access to. So I will put it on with my headphones and I will put my music on, and my radio station that I listen to in the UK, the DJs are so switched on and awake, it's untrue. And it's like we're tapping in, and they will play the words of the song to tell, and I will, as the news is telling the 3D consciousness the narrative they want to, as a higher awakened person, we get the veto of what the stream goes with, what the words and the sounds go with that 3D consciousness. So in my area now, they could be watching the news and listening to the mouth move and listen to their words. I'm putting out my own narrative, overlaying their narrative, and that's how I program the consciousness around in my area. I will overlay that narrative with the truth, just in my own thoughts, and music helps me do that. So
have you tried, do you know much about 432 and tuning your music to 432? I mean, I only say that because I'm a guitarist, so I tune my guitar to A equals 432, and obviously that's like one of the root notes. Adds up to 9. You know, everything you know about sacred geometry and vortex maths and things like that. Then you've got your 27, your 54, your 108, 216, and then 432. But 432 is like the anchoring chord to do with DNA, which is something that Brandon was talking about. But when I play the guitar in 432, it's just like it. I mean, I'm really sensitive to sound. So, you know, I'm one of those, what do you call it, clairaudience or whatever you call, you know, I don't, but I feel sound. And so when I play it, yeah, I've been doing a bit of kirtan recently. I don't know if you know what that is. It's like Sanskrit sort of call and response singing. And the words that you sing are just so amazing. They're so mellow and hollow and just resonant. You know, when you say Om Namo Bhagavate or whatever it is, you know, it's like a real kind of like it's what your mouth was designed to say, you know, and so yeah, when we play those in 432, I am literally just, my whole body is electrified, and I think that's got a very strong connection to DNA.
Sorry, Tim, can you do me a favour? And I know everybody's probably feeling it right now, and the recording is probably 2 hours is enough to record. But can you go and find because it will play on here. Can you find that lovely song you did for Standing Rock and play it for everybody so we can just have a chill meditation and then stop the recording just at the end, and then we can carry on chatting if we want afterwards. And we'll get together and do another one if everybody resonates, and try and get other guests on that we all resonate. But if anybody wants to listen to Tim's music, it's absolutely amazing and it will activate you. So Tim, if you want,
there's some downloads in there for sure. Yeah. Let me see if I've got it on my iTunes. I should have. So yeah, just a bit of background, I guess, about this is that I don't really write songs. I sort of receive them. I know that might sound a bit pretentious, but that's just what happens. And I was following the Standing Rock thing, and then suddenly I just had this song. This song just came out of nowhere. I was watching this elder talking about the fact that we don't own the land owns us. And within 1 hour, I just written this whole song, which is quite unusual because normally it takes a little while longer for me to receive and finally get songs, but that's what happened. And I'm just trying to find it while I'm talking to you so I can play it. Yeah, just give me a moment.
Okay, while you're looking for that, maybe if you can download and get songs, you could also download the information you need, like the way you process a song.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it?
So maybe you getting the words of the song is you getting your packets of information.
Yeah, it could be, right? Could be.
The songs means so much that it's like for eyes to see and ears to hear. You hear songs with a different part of your consciousness. So in your song, it brought me to tears the first time I heard it. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So Brandon, did you want to say something while he's still looking? You sent some lovely links there. So
yeah, I just dropped a link in the chat box, the chat room. It is called the Glossaberry template. It is the original innocence ceremony. I went through this literal ceremony in Glossenbury at my at the bed and breakfast called Star Gaia at the
Yeah.
tour, and this couple introduced me to the sacred geometry in this type of ceremony, and it had me like physical reactions. I was crying, my body was shaking. I knew that I was purging, because from combat, I always told people when I got back from war, I lost my innocence. I felt like I lost my innocence because there's some things other humans have to do to humans in war that is not organic. But when I went to Glossenbury and I ran into this couple, not ran into them, I asked to stay at their bed and breakfast. They introduced me to this ceremony called the Template Glossenbury. It's a sacred geometry workshop, and they gave me these links to their videos. And there's 3 videos, and we watched all 3, each one at night, right before we go to bed. So about a half an hour to an hour before we go to bed, I'd sit down and we'd watch this, and it would literally, in a meditative state, my body would go into like a focused state. But if you use your discernment and you are driven to watch or read up on it and then watch these videos, it will have an effect for the betterment. It's literally just reconnecting the electromagnetic circuits within our bodies. It's taking us back to the original blueprint. And then there's one for the synthesis.
Well, I'll share that when I'll post it. I'm going to share everybody's links and that link into the videos as well. And when you can upload these to your YouTubes as well and do the same thing. So we're not making them public till maybe upstairs. Tell me maybe Sunday or Monday. I think they're waiting for after this the for us to put these to public. So, but they'll be going into the groups as an unlisted YouTube for the groups.
Okay.
With get their codes, and then we'll be ready to go into action and do what we need to do on the equinox. So are you ready, Tim?
Yeah, I was just wondering whether you want me to screen share and play the video.
Yes, please. I would love to do that, because we can all turn our videos off now then and our mics, and when he's finished I'll turn the recording off and we can carry on chatting. So, okay, I'm going off now.
If we're going to do that, then I'm just going to turn off iTunes because everything is somehow just sort of ground to a halt. So just give me 2 seconds and I will get it for you. Come on.
I just want to say thank you, everybody.
I've just had Skype just kind of. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So Skype is just doing that thing.
Well, don't worry. I can put it in the link anyway. But if anybody wants to do a bit of style language, if we can't get the music up and just.
Well, I can. It's just I can't. Well, no, actually, I can't. Skype is just literally frozen. I've got everyone's face frozen on the screen.
Well, perhaps we're not meant to. We'll just put the link to get them to go to your channel then.
Yeah, sure.
So if anybody wants to speak some light language, and you don't have to put your camera on, but if you want to turn your camera off, and anybody jump in with light language, because we've had Shelby's been very quiet. Shelby, do you want to just do a bit of light language at the end with Tim?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that.
Okay, that'd be cool. You don't have to put your camera on. And Tim, if you want to take your camera off, and you can join in as well.
Sure.
And then I'll turn the recording off. Okay, when you finished. Thank you everybody for joining in, and this has been part 2, and all the subs are down below. Subscribe, go to Patreon, go to Facebook, all the usual. Thank you very much, and okay. Shelby, you ready?
I'm ready. I'm breathing. Hold on. Te usuno ashatar, te tunahar e diatar. Te gur hase artur ubar igata. Te shu kurra te ura ena akun. Te shu tar enesar olodor mar ena kusater.